You know those pictures of bugs, real close up, of coins, or these little details, you know, the macro stuff. Have you ever wanted to try that out? Let's see if there's a cheap system for macro for your Fuji X that's really worth it. We've got the 60mm 2.4, which is labeled as a macro lens, but it's not a true macro, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But what we want to look at is this JJC automatic extension tube, and you've got the 11mm and the 16mm versions. It won't take a genius to notice that this is basically a third-party version of Fujifilm's offerings. Fujifilms will cost you £100 thereabouts, and this under £30. So what we want to know is it really worth saving the money, or should you jump straight up to the big boy versions? Let's take a look at what we've got here. A manual which has a very handy table on the back. Now I'm going to put a link to the Fujifilm version of this table because it's basically the same, and there are a few facts from that which really opened it up for me nicely, and that's to do with the magnification factor of certain lenses. I mean, if you pause there and you put it on a big screen, you should be able to see that for yourself, but we'll put a link in so you can look at it properly on your monitor. On the back we've got instructions how to use it, we've got the warranty certificate, we've got a nice little drawer pack right there, we've got the units itself. As you can already tell, you can join them together, double up. Now that's not going to work with all lenses. In fact, there is a notice on the website which tells you not to use it doubled up with a 23 f2, but hey, I'm going to be recommending you a different lens that'll give you really the best magnification ratio, more or less, that you can get using these things. So there they are. You'll notice nice brass contact, so it'll read your metering and your aperture, your autofocus, etc. It's literally just a set of extension tubes with the contacts there, which will allow you to continue shooting as usual. Putting them together is just a case of lining it up, and there you go. Very impressed with the build quality, and to be honest, I don't think there's really much in it compared to the Fujifilm versions, and frankly, these are simple little things. Attaching the adapter to the lens is just a case of lining it up, letting it click into place. There you go. If you need to take it off, you've got a notch there so you can take it off. If you look at the specs, the 60mm f2.4 is not a true macro in the true sense of the word. This will get you 0.5 times, or with the extension tubes up to 0.76. But 1:1 is what you're looking for true macro. To that end, what I would recommend you take a look at is the 18 f2. I mean, you can get it cheap, and this thing will get you to, I think it's 1.01 magnification with the 16mm on, and that's what we've got right there. Yes, the internet favorite, the 18mm f2, but take a look at this. I've took the hood off because you get so close. The minimum focus distance is so short that the hood just doesn't allow you to get close enough. So let's throw it on the camera and take a look. Attaching the lens with the mount, simple case of just lining up the dots, and you're in exactly the same as attaching your lens normally. What I would recommend is getting this thing on a tripod, getting nice and close, flicking into manual mode, which will allow you to get the distance around there and for you to fine tune the focus. Also setting it into timer mode, so you're not going to get any shakes once you trigger it, and if you want, you could flick it over into continuous mode so you can fire off a few shots, because if you're outdoors you might get some issues. We line up the shot, we get it just where we want it, fine tune with the manual ring, which you'll see will zoom you right in there, and then at f2 we'll just fire off a shot. I've got it on continuous, so I'll get a few, because of course the thing is moving, so that can introduce a little bit of action in. Let's stop it down to f8, which should give us a bit more. The wind has picked up a little bit, so I'm just going to wait a moment for it to steady off, and in lieu of that we'll take a few shots, and you never know, you can already see that the depth of field is a little bit longer. Tripod, close as you can, manual focus, timer if you like, continuous if you like, and shoot away. F2 will get you the finest in this case with this lens. F8 will get you a bit more detail, and of course, because you're not playing with a lot, you can still get nice and close. Now of course, that tiny little bit of movement may well result in it going out, so take a bunch of shots so you can get that keeper right there in the bag. This is a good step into the macro world, you know, nice and close, larger than life. For £30 you can get yourself some extension tubes that seem to compete well with the official Fujifilm versions. I found no problems with them at all. Build quality was fantastic, the contacts work perfectly. You'll know by now there's no snobbishness here, no third-party prejudice. I love it all and I'll test it all. Of course, be careful, make sure the product you receive looks decent, looks like it's built right, and you know, if you buy it from a reputable source, you can always have some combat there. If you team these up with a lens like the 18 f2, not an expensive lens at all, you can get true macro, and if you use even a cheaper X-Trans body, you can bring your cheap Fuji X macro fun right down into the low end budget and have some real good times with that. I mean, you can get XE2s, X Pro 1s, XE1s for ridiculous prices nowadays. You know, look out for those. But of course, if you've got an XT20, XT2, whatever X body you've got, these are a nice little catch. And by these, I mean these. The next section is indoors and just the shots that I use to evaluate this thing with a tabletop setup from Nangwang, and I found it worked a treat. I'm going to put the samples up now. Stay tuned, subscribe for more, let us know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. And now it appears to have gone nice and quiet here in Martineau Gardens. Sorry for any sound problems, but you know.